What's up, everyone? We had a pretty good day on the team today. I think we cashed every slate, at least made some profit every slate. Nothing big, just because cash games in League are not easy to come by, and there are not enough of them. But yeah, the GPP is pretty hit or miss. But overall, very good day for us. A lot of profit on these slates, even though they're mostly chalk, but we had some shakeups along the way. I'm not going to cover the LPL LCK slate tonight. We have that covered elsewhere on the site. But I will be starting with the LEC slate for Saturday, so ignore this top column here. In fact, I'm just going to scroll down. Okay, so it starts there. This is an interesting slate. It's hard to I don't really love any of these teams so far in the LEC in terms of like, oh, this is the standout team to target. Um, obviously Mad, Rogue, Fnatic, G2 have looked very good in terms of winning games, which of course is going to equal DraftKings points. But Fnatic hasn't really popped off the page as a crazy high upside team yet. It's mostly been Mad Lions, I think, that has taken that crown. But we have Mad Lions as the biggest favorite on the slate tomorrow. So that throws a wrench into things. You can't just jam Mad Lions with another favorite. You'll probably have to be playing them with a dog or a roughly 500 team with like El Yoya captain, which I quite like. So that's kind of like the slate overview. In terms of macro lineup building off the top, my initial lineup build was exactly what Naoto has in the pentakill sheet. So that is probably going to be super chalky. It would not surprise me if that was something that ended up like splitting money in double ups. It's just too easy to get to with two pretty locked in favorites with Rogue and Fnatic. And yeah, just too easy to build there, and the pieces fit perfectly. So yeah, that lineup is going to be really popular in cash. I think that's the way you go. So I will put a different lineup in the pentakill sheet, more of a GPP lineup, and I will specify that so you don't get it twisted. As far as these matchups go, we'll start at the top here. I'll start with SK and XL. SK, as of the last time I looked, was a minus 130 favorite, with XL being a slight dog, but the stats don't really lean that way. The stats make me favor XL in this matchup. This line should probably be flip-flopped. And if you look on DraftKings, the salaries have XL as a higher price across the player positions. Ooh, LCS slate just got posted. Good. I can talk about that with salaries now. Oh, but it's a 2-gamer? That sucks. Anyway, XL and SK. Yeah, XL higher priced at every position, just slightly. And then the team slots are the same exact price. So that opens up some possibilities if you have conviction that SK is rightfully the favorite, which I frankly don't, then that represents great value, right? Because they are a betting favorite and they are a pricing underdog. So they might actually get a lot of ownership based on that. And that makes me want to play the XL side of this more. XL, I don't like them as a full stack. Neither of these teams has really shown the potential to have super high scoring games besides SK against Mad Lions. But that game, I don't know what was going on in that game. I still have to watch that one. I kind of wanted to just because it was kind of a mess. But from what I gathered, it didn't really seem like a clean game. XL, they have pretty significant advantages in what am I saying? Goal differential at 15. They are pretty middle of the pack actually in terms of that. whereas SK is second worst with pretty significant deficit of 2K gold at 15. In terms of gold per minute, XL better, and in terms of gold XL pretty far ahead there. So, and there was nothing really that stood out to me across like Herald, Dragon stats, Tower stats. So I do lean XL here. My favorite play on XL is always Patrick. I think he's a very good 80 carry, and he will carry most of the games that XL wins. Besides Patrick, I really like Finn. They've shown. I mean, Finn went to Worlds before. Finn is actually a pretty good player. I would put him or Advian secondary plays in an XL mini stack, and then the XL team slot. You can build XL with Mad Lions. You can build XL with. Actually, I don't know if you can build them with Mad Lions with an LUA captain. I think there's a reason I did it with SK. Build Rogue. You can definitely build them with Fnatic. So I like that quite a bit. Maybe try to get them with Mad Lions if you can. If you can't, I like XL with Rogue or Fnatic. And if you can't get XL with Mad, you can probably play XL with Rogue or Fnatic as well. Or SK with Rogue or Fnatic as well. Right. XL is the higher price team. So SK you can do with Mad Lions. But I don't think you can do XL with Mad Lions. So XL you want to be pairing with Rogue or Fnatic. SK, I like them with Mad Lions, but I think that will be very popular. So if you want to leave some salary on the table, I think you can go SK and Rogue or SK and Fnatic. And we will talk about those teams as we go down the board. Mad Lions minus 455 favorite against Astralis plus 320. Mad has looked really good so far this split. Sure, they lost to SK, and that was a kind of a weird one. And then they lost to Rogue in kind of a stomp, actually, today. But I think Mad is just overall a way better team than Astralis. Mad has had the highest combined kills per minute in the league. They still have the highest goal differential at 15, despite losing 2 games. Actually, maybe I didn't update those. I did update the gold per minute and the goal differential per minute, though. So Mad Lions still, one of the highest gold per minutes and goal differential per minutes in the league. Overall, they look like a great team to target here. My only worry is that they haven't been overly bloody in their wins. Gave up a lot of kills in both of their losses, though, which is something I do want to note because when we come into these other matchups going forward against Mad Lions, where it's maybe another top team, it looks like Mad Lions will give up a lot of kills when they lose. So, even with like a Misfits or a SK or an XL, like maybe some of these games that Mad might be a little closer in, those might be worth taking that underdog shot with a main stack, really shooting for the moon and shooting for that upside that Mad has shown that they can give up so far this split. Let me go to Oracles real quick and check. Yeah, Mad Lions still with the highest goal differential at 15, 1928. So it went down a little bit, but overall nothing too crazy there. BDS is a plus 225 underdog against Rogue, who is a minus 285 favorite. Rogue looked really good today against Mad. Very, very good. Rogue also with one of the highest combined kills per minute in the league, largely due to them playing some bad teams, racking up kills, and also playing Mad Lions, who are another very fast-paced team. And the sheet bears that out. The sheet had combined kills per minute for Mad and Rogue at 0.8 for Rogue and 0.86 for Mad as of yesterday. So updating these stats, you see they both went up. But even yesterday, this was clearly a matchup to target. I wish I had more of the Rogue side of it, but yeah. that's the way it goes. But anyway, Rogue, a very deserved minus 285 favorite here against Misfits. Misfits um, not a very bloody team this year, which is one of the reasons that, or no, Rogue is playing BDS. Sorry, Rogue against BDS. BDS, not an impressive team in my view at all. I don't like their roster very much. I don't think X Matty is any good, and it's always going to be an upward battle when your AD carry is not a very good carry. So, of course, Nuclear Int, I think, has been a little better. Syncroft looked pretty good in their first game. And then Adam, I think, was kind of like the weak link of Fnatic in the past split. And yeah, he's just not, he doesn't have the capability to just solo win games for them. So I really struggle to see how BDS really competes here. Rogue has looked like a very well-oiled machine so far, outclassing BDS in pretty much all aspects. So I go Rogue pretty comfortably here, and like Noto, I have Rogue as one of the top stacks on the slate. Misfits and Fnatic. Fnatic minus 270 favorite, Misfits plus 205. I like Fnatic a lot in this spot as well. Fnatic and Misfits actually have a pretty close gold per minute and gold differential per minute, and neither of them has played really good competition. So I think this is more of a product of Fnatic, just being a very good team and not really having to get into many long, drawn out, crazy games with any teams, or not falling behind, just staying pretty steady. As far as Fnatic, or as far as Misfits go, I think it's the same thing, right? Misfits, I think, is just a better team than the teams that they've played so far. I mean, when you look at it, Misfits has played. Misfits has played XL, BDS, Rogue, and Astralis. They lost the Rogue game. That's a step up. They won the XL, BDS, and Astralis games. Those are all teams that I would have power ranked pretty, not pretty far below. There's only 4 teams below Misfits in my power rankings, and 3 of them they've played so far. So pretty easy pattern with Misfits so far. I have them losing pretty comfortably to Fnatic. There's not too much that really points toward Misfits pulling the upset here. Misfits did beat Fnatic both times in the summer split, which I don't really put that much stock into, given these rosters are pretty different. Razork has now joined Fnatic and was pretty much the standout player on Misfits in the summer. So hard for me to get behind anything from the Misfits side. The only way I can see Misfits really winning this is Fnatic's early game hasn't been outstanding. Their goal differential per minute is not minus 848. It is a positive 265 at this point. And Misfits around 327 right now. So if Misfits does win the early game and Fanatics has been a little bit more shaky, maybe Misfits can snowball that into a win. But even so, Misfits has been pretty slow in their wins, and Fnatic hasn't lost yet. So that is the one thing, though. The better teams tend to, when they lose, I feel, give up a little bit more, just because they believe in themselves a little bit more to fight back and claw their way back into the game. Whereas some of these worst teams are kind of trying to do damage mitigation, right? They're trying to limit the damage and not fall behind more. Whereas better teams are trying to actively come back, and they're actively trying to force whatever advantages they might have. So I like Fnatic in this spot. This matchup, though, Profiles is the slowest to me of this slate as far as what we've seen from these teams so far in the split. So I don't love it, but I have Fnatic as a pretty safe play. So I have Fnatic and Rogue in cash. I would lean Rogue over Fnatic in other stacks, though. So I'm not sure how much Fnatic I'm going to get to overall on the slate, but I will have them in cash. This is just one of the stands that I'm going to be taking. I will be having more Rogue stacks than I will Fnatic stacks in tournaments, pretty much with XL SK. as of right now. Vitality, -145 favorite against G2, +115. Vitality kind of got right against BDS today. They looked pretty good. Put up 18 kills against BDS. Not bad. Good performance. I didn't watch that game live, so I don't really have any particularly hot takes about the way they played or how they formed their lead, held it, and ended up with the win. But Vitality does have a pretty strong goal differential of 15 so far. It's mostly been their team fighting that has let them down. They've looked disjointed, and I think that's just a product of the roster being newly formed. Yeah, they have the worst mid to late game rating on Oracle's Elixir by far in the league right now, which pans out, right? They have a pretty good goal differential of 15, and they are still 1-3. So all that being said, G2 is also not. I mean, this line should be a little closer, in my opinion. With maybe with G2 as a slight favorite based on what we've seen so far, but then you look at the talent advantages that Vitality seems to have, and yeah, it changes up. It's going to be really fun to watch Perks and Caps in the mid lane. This is the last matchup of the day, so pretty much spotlight on them. The bot lanes are where I think there are some questions with Labrov, a question mark on the Vitality side, and then both players in the bot lane for G2, a bit more of a question mark. G2 has obviously looked better, but G2 has not really played anyone spectacular yet. They did face off with. Let me open this up. Yeah, the G2, they did face off with Mad Lions and lost that game, but wins against SK, Astralis, and Excel. Only really putting up a good fantasy performance in the Excel game. That doesn't really inspire too much confidence here. And then Vitality on the other side, I don't have much confidence in them either. So this is a matchup where I like both sides. I think this is another one of those games that could just be a long, drawn out, pretty bloody game with the way that these teams are. With the way these teams are composed, right? I don't see Perks or Caps backing down. Selfmade is always going to be aggressive. And yeah, I just see this as a banger of a game, and I think whoever wins has a pretty good chance to be a pretty high scoring team. Both of them have 0.79 combined kills per minute so far, which would make this one of the higher projected combined kill per minute games on the slate. Rogue BDS is at 0.82. Mad Astralis is at 0.805. And yeah, Vitality G2 obviously 0.79. That's how averages work. SKXL being the fourth matchup there, and Misfits Fnatic being the fifth. So if I go based on that, and I think that Vitality and G2 are pretty fairly priced, and I think they could have a big upside game from the winner, then yeah, I like these two teams as sort of the main stack. And then I think you can probably skinny stack Mad with them. I'm not sure if you can main stack Mad and skinny stack one of these two teams. I think in this situation, I would shoot for an upside that you could get, the upside you could get from a straight shootout between these two teams. But other than that, that is all I have for the LEC slate. There is no Sunday slate, so I can delete all of that. Gone. Okay. LCS. These are the matchups for the LCS quarterfinals of the lock-in tournament. All these stats are updated. The rosters are what they are from today. And we just got this slate posted like mid-recording. So this slate starts tomorrow at 1:30, and the only games on the slate are, I'm going to move these around so we don't get confused. Bang. Okay. So we have 100 Thieves and Dignitas facing off in the first matchup. I would expect that 100 Thieves is the biggest favorite, and that is panned out in the salaries. Yeah, this is a chalk fest if I've ever seen one. These are, I believe, best of threes or best of fives. Um, I don't have any faith in us in pulling upset against these teams. Dig hasn't really looked great. They looked a little better with River in today, but overall, there's both of these rosters are talent gaps at all five positions, both of these matchups. Um, so it's really tough to pick either of these teams to pull the upset. I hate doing it, but I really think in a situation like this, like I think 100 Thieves and TL in a series against these two teams, I don't have odds yet, and I've looked for them and I haven't found them. As of when I'm recording this, 9:45 p.m. Pacific time, Friday night. So I don't have any. I would imagine these are like minus 800 to like minus 1,000 matchups for 100 Thieves and TL. Like these are huge gaps, and there haven't been too many upsets in the lock-in tournament. They've been mostly like the minor upsets. To TL did drop a game to EG, which was a bit of an upset, but not really when you consider the hopes that people had for EG. And then 100 Thieves actually did drop a game to FlyQuest, but that was the one game they didn't play someday. They played Tenacity. I think they might have just been kind of out of it for that one. Um, but overall, this Dignitas team is even worse than the FlyQuest team. So it's really hard for me to see any way that Dig pulls an advantage out here. If I'm going to this game, I like the TL side in terms of upside a little bit more. I don't have too much interest in the dig side of things, or in the dig. Trying to find. I was trying to find how many. I thought I updated the Dignitas deaths per loss. Where the hell is this? Yeah, Dignitas deaths per loss. Yeah, so Dignitas only giving up 13 deaths per loss on average. They're really just like not. They're not playing interesting games. And the one game that they did get a lot of kills put up against them was EG with 17. But EG has shown that they will push their advantages and really force things. So not surprising there. Overall, yeah, I mean like TL beat Dig 11-4. Gross. Just basically suffocated them. And 100 Thieves hasn't really shown too much upside in their wins either, going 22, 15, and 15. So that's pretty good. TL 18, 11, and 15. But FlyQuest has given up more deaths in their losses. So that gives me some interest, some more interest in the TL side of things. The only problem for me is that I don't know what you can build yet. This slate, like I said, literally just came out. So if I'm going here, I mean, closer, higher price than Santorin. I want to make sure these prices are all accurate. Yeah, so there's a $400 gap between FBI and Hansama. Only 200 in the mid lane. The way Avadaga he hasn't really shown anything resembling upside in this tournament. Bjergsen hasn't popped off too much either, but I prefer him. Closer has a $400 price difference against Santorin. Santorin, another guy, very steady in terms of his DraftKings points, but Closer is the guy with major upside, major carry potential. Whippo actually higher price than Sunday is pretty curious, and I think leads me will lead people to having a lot of Someday as a matter of necessity in order to build good lineups here. The way that this slate can get shaken up is if we find out that say Tenacity is starting, or Hansama is still priced higher than Yeon, which is curious. And was a way that we got a lot of coverage to Slate, because like Hansama and Yeon were like the same percentage owned, right? So if we do learn that Yeon and Core are starting, there's a significant price difference between the 100 Thieves and TL players in the bot lane. So that would be a huge way for us to potentially get some more TL bot lane exposure spot. You can build yet, like I said, but if you could build something with like a Yeon captain, that would be pretty nice. But that's all I've got for those two matchups. Sunday, I'm gonna break down this for Sunday as well, just because there's nothing else there. But that's for that slate. I don't have salaries for this next slate yet. C9 against CLG. I would expect to be a closer matchup, sort of the TL versus FlyQuest in terms of salaries, if you want to think about it that way. And EG versus GG as the sort of wider gap 100 Thieves versus Dig style matchup. EG would be the team that I have the most interest in here. They've been the one to really push the pace in their games. That said, the C9 side of things, CLG has given up some pretty solid kill totals in their losses, 18 and 24. C9 in their wins, not really popping off, never over 20 kills yet. But meanwhile, EG 21, 24, 15, 17. So certainly possible that C9 outscores EG on this slate. The only thing is that the GG side of things, they've given up 22, 19 losses or deaths in 2 of their 3 losses. And even the game they won, they ended up putting up 15 kills. So I think GG is they're going to be an action team, and EG will happily take advantage. 9 CLG side of things, I could see being the slower game. That said, if you can get a better upside lineup with, a better captain with C9 as compared to main stat EG, I don't have any problem with that. But if you do want to play EG as opposed to the 100 Thieves side of thing, like if you're playing 100 Thieves on the next slate, I think it's closer captain you try to fit. Whereas with TL, you're trying to fit a bot lane or a Bjergsen captain. But with C9 and EG, I think the double jungle is a lot more viable. Neither of these guys have sort of the floor, like typical performance of Santorin. Blabber and Inspired, both pretty high upside players. If you're building with those just those two teams, I really, like I said, I don't see much merit to playing CLG or GG here. I think these are just talent gaps, right? There's going to be problems for these lower teams like 100 Thieves, TL, C9, EG. That's the chalk. I think they're going to win. I don't want to get too cute here. If I chop, with a bunch of people, so be it. Them's the breaks. But I'd rather chop than not make any money at all, if I'm really, really convinced. Like all of these matchups are minus 500 or above, in my opinion, over a 3-game or more series. So yeah, I wouldn't mind Impact. I have way over Darshan, so I would be prioritizing Impact in the top lane. Fudge and Jojo Pune, I like Fudge a little bit more, especially if the salary is going to be less. Danny and Sven, I don't really have too much preference, and Isles and Vulcan, I don't really have too much preference. I always do like to play the sort of support on the main stack, just because usually the support is engaging a lot, getting a lot of assists, really sort of getting the team fight started, getting the action going. So they have a lot of potential to rack up points if the rest of their team is popping off as well. So yeah, pretty much if you're playing Danny or Sven, I like pairing them with their support generally. But there can always be exceptions. Unique builds will generally present more upside in terms of your winnings. But Yeah, I don't really have any problem with any of these captains between the jungle, mid, or bot lanes of C9 or EG. So I think that Sunday slate will be a little bit more interesting in terms of the builds that I like and really want. And the only reason that tomorrow's slate is a little bit more interesting is just the fact that I think um, I don't like what I've seen out of TL and their wins so far, but I think FlyQuest is the more appealing matchup. And 100 Thieves seems pretty content to just ease their way to victory in a lot of these spots. So the problem is that I don't love what I'm seeing out of like Santorin so far in terms of like a potential jungle captain play or double jungle. But that's all I've got for this weekend's slates. No Sunday action this week in the LEC, so sorry to break it to you. But yeah, moving on to LPL LCK tonight. Hope to make some money there and roll it over to tomorrow. So best of luck. Have a good one. Peace.